Hey folks, this is Cement once again, and welcome back to another review of a film that Tony had sent me, Revenge. And this is the Unrated Director's Cut, which I guess the difference between this and the theatrical is this one is about 20 minutes shorter than the theatrical. Like the theatrical was a little over 2 hours, and this was an hour and 40 minutes. Now I know Quentin Tarantino is a big fan of this movie. I consider Revenge to be Tony Scott's masterpiece. When Tony directed my first script, True Romance, I tell everyone proudly, the man who made Revenge is making my movie. Has a commentary with director Tony Scott, has a little 14-15 minute featurette with interviews with Kevin Costner, Madeleine Stowe, and Tony Scott. And I know he says something at the end of, when I'm gone, will people think that I was a nut, crazy? Well, I know the title says rant, so obviously I'm not a fan of this movie or the next one that Tony sent me, Domino. But I want to say some stuff about Tony Scott himself, because I am a huge fan of Tony Scott. I know some people may go, well, why don't you say was instead of am? I still am, because I think his movies will live on, and I miss Tony Scott. It sucks that he's no longer with us. It sucks to not see any more new Tony Scott films, because he is one of my favorite directors. Because there's so many films of his that I enjoy. I have not seen his first two films, but I enjoy Top Gun. I enjoy Days of Thunder. Love the Hans Zimmer score. Mellow Yellow, my favorite drink, is part of it. I think Days of Thunder is a bit underrated, to be honest. Beverly Hills Cop 2, which I reviewed, and The Last Boy Scout, which I've reviewed in the past, still on my channel. Those are two of my favorite Tony Scott films. I mean, if I had to say his masterpiece, those would be Beverly Hills Cop 2, if I could say it right, and The Last Boy Scout. I love those two films to death. True Romance I reviewed, and I like True Romance. The Fan, I don't mind. I can watch The Fan. I really enjoy Enemy of the State. I really enjoy a lot of the stuff pretty much all the stuff he did with Denzel. Crimson Tide I like. Man on Fire I enjoy. Wasn't a big fan of the ending, I'll just be honest. I wish Denzel's character had lived. But still, I like Man on Fire. It's a well done movie. I think Deja Vu is a very underrated one. Take Your Pelham 1, 2, 3 I thought was a pretty good film, and that was a remake. See, I don't hate all remakes. And I loved Unstoppable. That one really surprised me, and that was Tony Scott's last film he directed. I mean, he's made a few others. Spy Game, which I've never seen. For some reason, I want to think there's another film or two he's made that I have not seen. I mean, I've seen most of his films. And yeah, I would like to do a Tony Scott marathon, but I reviewed quite a few of his films. True Romance, which I liked. Last Boy Scout. Beverly Hills Cop 2. Those reviews still up. And I would like to review the rest of his stuff one day, but it just depends on time. I think I counted up, it was like he'd made 17 movies, and about 12 of them I enjoy. Again, the only 5 I can think of is the first two he directed, which I haven't seen. I think one of them is The Hunger. Maybe wrong on the title. Spy Game, which I haven't seen, and then these two, Revenge and Domino. And to be honest, it's funny that a guy named Tony, very nice guy, sent me 2 Tony Scott films, and they happen to be the 2 Tony Scott films that I don't like of the stuff I've seen. Because again, I haven't seen his first 2 Tony Scott films, and I haven't seen Spy Game, but I enjoy all the other ones. This one, I don't really get the praise for it. Especially by Quentin Tarantino. It's fine if he likes it. I don't get it. And I don't think the acting's bad. I mean, Kevin Costner, Anthony Quinn, Madeleine Stowe. Nice to see Miguel Ferrer. I've heard it pronounced Ferrer, and I've heard it pronounced Ferrer. For sake of argument, I'll just say Ferrer. But he comes in like an hour and 13 minutes into this. To me, there's just not much to the film. Kevin Costner is a retired naval pilot, leaves the service, goes to Mexico, has these shotguns as gifts to a friend of his, Anthony Quinn, which I think he did a good job. I liked a little bit of their back and forth when they're playing tennis. And Anthony Quinn's like, hey, you don't spot me any points? No, I'm going to play you even. I ain't giving you shit. I said I play you even. Just a little bit of their back and forth. And Kevin Costner brought Anthony Quinn a jacket. Kevin Costner gets to know Madeleine Stowe, who is Anthony Quinn's wife. And you find out Anthony Quinn is a crime boss. You know, these two people are messing with him during this meeting, and Quinn talks about how, oh, you have no manners, and or has one of them killed, shot in the head. And pretty much Kevin Costner falls in love, kisses Madeleine Stowe. Ultimately, they begin a relationship, fall in love with each other, gets Madeleine Stowe to a cabin. Before he does, he even lies to Anthony Quinn's face on where he's going or why he's going there. And then Anthony Quinn shows up, shoots the dog, kills Kevin Costner's dog, and beat the shit out of Kevin Costner. They slash Madeleine Stowe's face. They bring her to a whorehouse for her to be used and abused. They leave Kevin Costner to die in the desert. And then someone picks him up to let him heal. And the guy who picked him up and let him heal, nursed him back to health, drives him somewhere, gives him a knife, tells him pretty much good luck. Kevin Costner meets this guy, the Texan, played by James Gammon. For those who don't know, that's the guy in the first major league film. I'm not sure if he was in the sequel, but I know he's in the first one. He's the coach of the Indians with the big mustache and the good gravelly voice. But gravelly voice in a cool way, not in an annoying way. And I liked him as an actor. I don't think he's no longer with. I think he passed away, but. And then pretty much Kevin Costner sees one of the guys who fucked him up, follows him to his bathroom, stabs a guy, and kills him. Says, fuck you, Amito. Leaves. It cuts to Madeleine Stowe, who's being used in this whorehouse, and she even shares needles with this person, who I think the person has AIDS. I could be wrong. Because she's sort of given up, and she's sharing needles. On the trip, James Gammon dies, and so Kevin Costner now has a car. Goes to this bar and this little motel. And that's like an hour and 13 minutes into the movie that I just described in like 2-3 minutes. I spent most of the time talking about Tony Scott, how much I enjoy Tony Scott's filmography, but that's really it. I mean, Kevin Costner, Madeleine Stowe, Anthony Quinn, I don't think they did bad acting-wise. It's not much there. Pretty much what I said is what happens. I like Miguel Ferrer when he enters it. He's a guy who knows the person who nursed Kevin Costner back to health. And Miguel Ferrer, to me, was the most interesting character. You get a little bit of understanding why he's helping Costner, that Anthony Quinn's character, somehow Miguel Ferrer's sister was got into business, messed with business, and she got killed. And then later on, Miguel Ferrer brings in this guy, his cousin Ignacio, played by John Leguizamo, who doesn't have much to do and probably has only 3 lines of dialogue. Most of that, I think that's maybe 3 in Spanish. If that, he might have had like 1 or 2 dialogue. He had nothing to say. I'm looking back, I'm like, man, I kind of want to see Miguel Ferrer and John Leguizamo's story. And maybe along the way they picked up Kevin Costner. I want to see their story. Because Miguel Ferrer, I enjoy him as an actor, and I think he's been very underused in movies. He starred in this one called The Harvest, which he was fine, but the movie let it down because it was there, like a time waster at best, but I don't know, the script and I think the director let that movie down. Could have been so much better. But his bit parts in RoboCop, The Stand, Deep Star 6 especially. Like he's been very underused, and again, he's my favorite part of the film. I like him as an actor. He listens to some information, finds out that Madeleine Stowe is still alive. Uh, listens to the information some more, finds out that she's at a whorehouse. They grab this guy, who they nicknamed Senor Boots, because Costner recognizes him from his boots. And Kevin Costner's kind of the hothead, and Miguel Ferrer is the level-headed guy saying, no, no, you can't go in there with guns ablazing, you can't go in there, we'll find out where it is. And they find the whorehouse, and they go in there, and Miguel Ferrer has a nice line of dialogue saying, if she's not what you say, I'll come back here and kill you. Okay, yeah. She doesn't know where Stowe is. It pretty much is just them pissing around, looking around, and ultimately they meet up with Anthony Quinn, who's with one guy. Miguel Ferrer and John Leguizamo shoot the other guy off his horse. Kevin Costner pulls out a gun. Anthony Quinn goes, I want you to ask me for forgiveness for sleeping with my wife. Then Kevin Costner puts down his gun and goes, please forgive me for sleeping with your wife. And then Anthony Quinn tells him where she's at. And then Kevin Costner walks away. I'm like, wow, so this is a revenge movie with no revenge in it, is what you're saying. It's called Revenge. That is the title, right? Revenge. Revenge. Not much of a fucking revenge, is it? It's a revenge. I guess it's not really a revenge movie. I mean, he's done better revenge movies, like Man on Fire is a better revenge movie than this film called Revenge. Because I don't even know if Anthony Quinn, did he get killed by, what about Miguel Ferrer? I mean, didn't he just have a piece of dialogue where he shoots, Anthony Quinn led to the death of his sister? So wouldn't Miguel Ferrer shoot him? And like a minute before the meeting, Kevin Costner's going on, remember, I'm the one who shoots him. And because Anthony Quinn says, ask me for forgiveness, then it's all okay, I guess? And then they find the convent. She's sick. Sees Kevin Costner. Says she wants to go outside. Dies in Kevin Costner's arms. The movie ends. And that's revenge. That's really revenge. That's all revenge is. He goes to meet Anthony Quinn, falls over with Madeleine Stowe, takes her back to the cabin to fuck, do the Humpty Hump, do the Humpty Dance. They shoot his dog. They beat the fuck out of him, leave him to die. Put Madeleine Stowe in a whorehouse for her to be raped repeatedly. The fact that she's so desperate to get out of it, she shares a needle to get herself sick to die. Kevin Costner heals, grows up, meets a Texan who dies, meets up Miguel Ferrer. They find where the whorehouse is. She's not there. Meet up with Anthony Quinn. Only go, okay, Anthony Quinn, I did sleep with your wife. My bad. I mean, yeah, granted, you went to the extreme and, I don't know, killed my dog, had my dog shot, beat the fuck out of me, left me to die, put Madeleine Stowe in a whorehouse to be used, and now she's sick and dying because of what you did, Anthony Quinn. But you know what? I'm going to put my fucking shotgun down, and I'm just going to walk away. Even though also in the script we had that scene where Miguel Ferrer is talking about how his sister died because of Anthony Quinn, but they don't show Anthony Quinn dying. We don't hear any gunshots. It was meant to be inferred. They did a shitty job of it. I like Miguel Ferrer. I don't mind the score by Jad Nietzsche. It's there. I don't think the acting is the problem. The story's the problem. And I'm sure if I watched the theatrical cut, which had 20 more minutes, I don't think it's going to improve. It was a boring film. It was an uneventful film. I thought it was a pretty damn lame film. I don't understand Quentin Tarantino's praise for it. True Romance, I understand the praise for it. I like True Romance. Enemy of the State, I'll take that movie. Man on Fire, Deja Vu, Take Your Pill 1, 2, 3, Unstoppable, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Last Boy Scout, The Fan. I'll take any of those movies. Top Gun, Days of Thunder, Crimson Tide. I'll take any of those movies. I could name tons of revenge movies I'd rather take over this. I don't get the praise. What's so great about it? I don't get it. There's really nothing to it. What I described is the movie. I thought it was a lame revenge story. It was a very lame... There's no even comeuppance. I thought it was a lame way to do it. I don't know if they're just trying to be pretentious, bullshit, or whatever the fuck. And... yeah, I have nothing more to say to revenge. I think it's fucking lame. And yeah, this is the one of the two Tony Scott films I don't like. This and Domino, which I'll give more to that next time. Or the next video. But yeah, not a fan of revenge. If I want revenge, I can find a better revenge for my asshole for sitting on it by sitting on a toilet. Yeah, I know that was lame. But I tried to think of anything clever or funny, and I know that wasn't clever or funny. I guess the movie fucked me up more than I thought. I'll end it without... I'm running out of steam here. I guess that's... my brain cells went to sleep watching the film. Maybe that's why. Now they need a startup of adrenaline. And it's not going to be from Domino. But hey, maybe I'll watch The Last Boy Scout. I'll watch Bruce Willis. You touch me again, I'll kill you. You know, I'll watch that. Or Beverly Hills Cop 2 with Eddie Murphy. Look at Brigitte Nielsen and go, that's a tall bitch. You know, that's a big bitch. What can I say? Later.